with my brother Grant Kwando, Grant Collins, Optimus BJJ. You have a beautiful gym in Laguna Niguel, Dana Point, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
We've been, trained with me in 2000, right? 2000.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's 19 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started our kids program back in the Fight Club days.
Yeah. Yeah.
You came over trying to steal some jiu-jitsu techniques so you could go back to your taekwondo school and teach the jiu-jitsu techniques over there, right?
Yeah.
But then she's like, I can't go back to the taekwondo school. I gotta do jiu-jitsu. Yeah. You wanna tell it from your side how that happened? You quit. Okay, it was the biggest martial art. It was the biggest martial art gym in Santa Fe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Epic school in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Big school. Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Big school.
Big school.
You were the head coach, right? You ran everything pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you quit and took off your black belt and put on a white belt.
Yeah.
When you thought you were just going to come over and take the techniques and bring it back and teach us, steal it, right?
Steal your moves, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went over there to learn some jiu-jitsu, some Brazilian jiu-jitsu and grappling so we could have a women's self-defense.
And you have the shirt on, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, right?
Yeah, exactly that.
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Santa Fe.
The first new Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym in New Mexico.
Yeah, first school in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It was sick. And Tom Pless was also a teacher there at the Taekwondo because he was...
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was.
Yeah. And so he originally was like, hey, this guy Alberto just opened up a jiu-jitsu school. You got to come check it out. I was like, I'm going to go over there. I'll do like 2 months and I'll get some good moves and then we'll have a women's self-defense course and it'll be awesome. But, just like a lot of people, my mind was blown. Jiu-jitsu blew my mind. And I got ragdolled by the white belts in there. It was all white belts because you were just brand new open at the Edge ski shop, right? And
I got the main road in Santa Fe, New Mexico, right? Yeah. I got a prime spot. It was a ski rental place, right?
Yeah.
And they had in the summertime there's no skiing, so I got a crazy good deal, right? For basically to lease the space. They moved their stuff out of the main area.
Right.
And I put some mats down, and we were like front and center in Santa Fe.
It was on.
Yeah.
A mat and a toilet. That's all you need.
Yeah. And the skis in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was so impressed with what the martial art was. I was so impressed with how people were smaller than me, who were white belts. They could just manhandle me and ragdoll me. I was like, dude, I'm getting dominated right here. And I just kept having experience.
Did you watch Royce Gracie in the UFC?
Yeah, exactly.
Before that or after that?
No, definitely, right? I was a little martial art nerd, right? And fully into Taekwondo. And I was in Denver. I was living in Denver, and that's where I first got my black belt, was in Denver. But that's where the UFC was happening, right? Because like the boxing commission or something, that's where a lot of the early fights were in Denver. And we had Patrick Smith at our Taekwondo school was running a little martial art, MMA club. And so I had got exposed to it, and I had some friends telling me, dude, you got to see what this Royce Gracie's doing to these people. It's wild. So of course, right? Like I had heard about it, but then there was no place to do it. Just like, it was the 90s, right? Like there was no place. And then, so that's when Tom Pless was like, yeah, this guy, Alberto, opened up this jiu-jitsu school. You got to check it out. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm in. And a lot of your whole first crew was that way. Your whole first crew were like martial art guys, so like your first
hardcore martial artists,
hardcore martial art guys.
Like world famous, world famous guys like Arlen Sanford.
Hardcore wrestlers. Tom Pless was the kickboxing guy in town. Yeah, I was the Taekwondo guy in town. Arlen Sanford was the stick fighting guy in town.
Dog Brother founding guy.
Yeah. All you had
Salty Dog.
You had heavy hitter wrestlers in there.
Yeah.
Right? They were like, okay, jiu-jitsu, let's get it. So your first stack of white belts was sick.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
Animals.
Then
so I went in there, I was like, these animals are killing me. And
Taekwondo didn't measure up, huh?
Well,
in jiu-jitsu.
You know,
But you had Hapkido, didn't you?
yeah, I had a black belt.
And that's like the same thing, isn't it?
The
As
Hapkido
Brazilian
is
jiu-jitsu?
no, the Hapkido is like joint locking.
Right, that's
From
yeah, we get our
you know,
our grappling in the Hapkido.
It's similar, yeah, and the Hapkido is similar to Aikido for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and but all respect due to my roots and all that. I learned a lot of the fundamental things, but jiu-jitsu, of course, was king. I knew it. I could feel it. You can feel it. You can just feel it when someone dominates you with ease, with technique. You can just feel it.
Blew your mind.
Yeah, blew my mind. So, I switched over and put my black belt in the closet and put a white belt on. And my girlfriend cried.
Right, because you're the big man.
Yeah.
Boss, head coach.
The head guy. I was the guy around
big
town.
Black belt. Yeah.
Everybody bow. Everybody call, Mr. Collins, whatever. Yeah. And then when I put my black belt on the shelf, she cried straight up. I was like, "Why are you crying? What's going on?" But
integrity, huh? You're like, I can't do it.
Yeah. You can just, when you see the truth, if you see the truth, and you're like, okay, I have to learn this now.
Because you're already the head coach. You're already you're an amazing coach, right? You were the man.
No,
you're the man.
I was a teacher.
Yeah, but it was huge. It was it was the biggest school in Santa Fe.
Big school, yeah.
Yeah, and you were running everything, so everybody knew you in town. So I just found that very interesting.
Yeah.
That you would. Once you see the truth, right? You can't go back.
Yeah. And, respect to the striking arts, all the striking arts,
right.
The taekwondo, the karate, the kickboxing.
Sure.
We have to have striking. For sure, striking's a thing. For sure, it's in play. For sure, punching, kicking, blocking. For sure, this is part of the martial art training. Has to be. But, at that time, a lot of the martial arts, they didn't allow grabbing, right? Like the karate and the taekwondo and the kung fu and even the kickboxing, right? It's like you're not allowed to grab. Right? It's like, oh. So then the first thing that jiu-jitsu does, right? They grab a hold of you.
Right.
It's grappling. And so that was an eye-opener, right? You're like, wow, well, why aren't these other martial arts allowing grabbing? Right? It's because when you grab a hold of the person, it's hard for them to kick and punch on you. And then, the fancy moves. And
right.
Yeah.
What are some of the other lessons, right? Like you've shared with me a lot. And you actually used a lot of those things when you started our kids program back in those days, right? Like the character things, right? From traditional martial arts.
Right.
I think that's the thing because, that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu didn't have before because it was definitely like a fight club kind of a martial art, right?
Right.
And they started in the UFC and that was the culture in those days. And then you definitely brought the traditional martial art kind of all those values, right? And the culture and etiquette with you to our kids program, which I learned a lot from, right? And yeah. Could you want to explain or talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that
some of the benefits that you've gotten from Taekwondo
definitely.
training.
Yeah, definitely. I think that in the Taekwondo training, what you saw
how it's changed your life. You shared with me a lot.
Yeah, you saw these virtues and you saw these things come over that were part of the culture, part of the Asian culture, right? Like part of the Japanese culture and part of the Korean culture, like respecting your elders and respecting your teacher and your training partners and the bowing and having self-discipline and a sense of mastery and working with perseverance towards a goal and these kinds of things that were so much a part of the martial art training of the old, the karate and the taekwondo, the kung fu. All of this was so much a part, like that mental training, all those virtues and all those characteristics. But those virtues, of course, can be applied to jiu-jitsu too.
Right.
And I think you see that too, right? I see that now in jiu-jitsu, like jiu-jitsu now versus jiu-jitsu when it was early 2000s, late 90s, is like it's almost like it's maturing, like it's growing up, right? Like you see it. Everyone's bowing now. There's more respect between the teachers and the students, and more respect kind of all the way around. There's more cleanliness.
I heard like karate was like that in the 70s and up to the Karate Kid, which was I think like 84 or something like that. but it was just so hardcore, you know, that, you know, there weren't that many women training.
Right.
And then the Karate Kid happened, and then they had those virtues kind of on this big screen, right? And then people started bringing their kids in.
Right.
And it kind of changed that.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, it can get cheesy, right? It can get cheesy pretty quick, I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, it can go Rex
Get watered
Kwando.
down.
Yeah, it can go Rex Kwando pretty quick. And
we call you Grant Kwando.
Yeah.
Professor Grant Kwando.
Yeah. And so I think you kind of want to don't get too cheesy with it.
Yeah.
But like there's definitely some fundamental characteristics and fundamental virtues that come along with martial art training that definitely we have the platform to be able to teach to the world, right? Teach to kids and teach to adults these characteristics without being cheesy.
Yeah. What are some of those virtues? Or what are virtues to you that you think are that are very important?
Yeah, I think the discipline is a good one, right? Just having discipline over yourself and having discipline over your daily activities and what you're doing, how you're doing it. Goal setting, being able to set a goal and then make disciplined steps to reach that goal. And then also the virtues of strength and courage and mastery, right? You're developing strength or developing courage.
Courage to go after that mastery.
Courage to do everything, right? And courage, you know, a lot of people, you've seen students come in, right? They're not courageous. And then they go through their white belt and they get in their stripes and then they think, oh, I kind of want to do a tournament. You
start
know,
to believe in themselves.
But they're scared a little bit. And then but they do the tournament and you see them their first tournament, they're scared to death, right? But they're developing that little nugget of courage in there. And that little nugget of courage is getting stronger. And then they do their first tournament, and you know, win or lose or whatever, you know, it wasn't that bad. And then they have the courage to do another tournament, and you know, they start feeling a little stronger, they start feeling a little more courageous. And then, of course, you've seen that it translates into other areas of their life where they go for a job interview and they've got a stronger nugget of courage in there, or they want to talk to a pretty girl and they've got a little more courage to develop that.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, it starts little and it's just they're scared, but they do it anyway, right?
Right.
They step forward and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And that's how they start to build that confidence.
Yeah.
That changes them forever.
Right, exactly. Our boy Finney, you know Finney?
Finney
McMahon,
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Fort Collins, Colorado.
Represent Fort Collins. He has a saying.
Shout out.
He has a saying. I even think he like put it on the inside of his gis. He said, "Develop the courage for greatness." I like that. Right, where
I like that.
You're not going to be great at anything if you don't have courage. You know, so I like that. Develop the courage for greatness.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, you know, you're an acupuncturist as well. Licensed acupuncturist. You've been doing that for, now it's been quite a few years, right?
Yeah, like 15 years.
15 years, yeah. So you went to acupuncture school. I think you started after you switched over. You changed your career path, right?
Right.
You're doing the head coach, and then you got accepted to acupuncture school in Santa Fe.
Right. So when I came to you, what was happening was I would go to acupuncture school all day, and then in the evening I was teaching Taekwondo. Right. So then.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just grinding like that, and then I kind of switched over and started just training the jiu-jitsu full time. So then I was in acupuncture school all day and jiu-jitsu in the evening. So
what made you want to go into acupuncture?
Man, I had a lot of really good experiences with it when I was young. So my first experience with it when I was 12, I had terrible allergies. I was like living on Benadryl. And my mom took me an acupuncturist, and he actually, it turns out he was kind of a well-known acupuncturist, but you know, it was just Santa Fe. I didn't know I was 12.
Yeah.
But he did an acupuncture treatment, he did herbs, and my allergies just went away like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh, great. But I was 12, whatever. And then later on, when I was in Denver, I got really sick. I got like a respiratory flu, and I was sick for like 6 months, like terrible sick. And I went to 3 different doctors, and I went to 3 different, actually I was on 3 separate prescriptions of antibiotics, and nothing was getting this thing. I still had like a fever and like phlegm and coughing. Like I was a mess for like, you know, and I was kind of freaking out. I was like, dude, 3 rounds of antibiotics, I'm gonna die. And so I went to an acupuncturist there, like in the neighborhoods there in Denver, and same thing. We did a treatment, and he gave me a bottle of herbs for $7. And I took the herb, and like 2 days later, I was like, I felt better, like much better. I was like, dude, I need to learn more about this. And so then I started studying. I had, at the time, a girlfriend who worked at the Tattered Cover, a bookstore in Denver. And I said, you got to get me all the books you can on Chinese medicine. So she got me just stacks and stacks of books. So I just started reading about it and learning about it. And then just a hobby kind of became, formal schooling and occupation. Yeah.
Well, what are some of the things that you learned in the school? I'm big on that, studying the fascia and neurology, and I mean, it's like Eastern medicine meets Western medicine, right? In a way, the stuff I'm studying, but that Eastern medicine is acupuncture, right? And a lot of those kinds of
I mean, there's a lot to it, right?
Medicines.
There's a lot to the Chinese medicine, a lot to the, for the most part, it's natural medicine,
right?
Which is great, right? So that it's not just pharmaceutical medicines or surgery and this and that. And in that way, it's a corrective medicine, right? Like Chinese medicine is looking to correct issues, correct problems, rather than just cover up a problem, right? So this is better, has advantages. I think the body responds better to natural medicine. I think the body responds better to plant medicine. The body knows how to assimilate and process and metabolize plant medicine better than pharmaceutical medicine. And I think within the realm of natural medicine, you got to put in chiropractic as well, having a spine that's in alignment. So this kind of training is it's almost like, even if I didn't become an acupuncturist, it's so useful as far as the knowledge of the herbs and the knowledge of the body and the knowledge of natural medicine is so useful, right? Just for, just to make you a better martial artist, right? Half of the reason I went to acupuncture school is because the damn Karate Kid, right? Got a Mr. Miyagi, right? And you kind of wanted to be that the
healer,
that sensei that like knew how to heal the body, right? Because you already know, as a professor, you have people coming to you all the time, like, professor, this and that got hurt, professor, my back, and professor, my neck, and right. And you kind of want to be, or for me, I wanted to be the professor or the black belt who could like have an answer to be like, look, here is how you can continue to have more power, more energy, more life force if you get your spine alignment, or you take these herbs, or let's have acupuncture on this.
Unblock the chi.
Unblock the chi, exactly. Right.
The stuck chi that I used to laugh at 20 years ago, but now I'm all into it.
Now you're into it. The movement of the blood, the movement of the chi.
Just the chi, man, the energy, blocked energy, right? And fascia and brain, and it's all science now.
It is.
Back then it was, like a lot of hippie talk, right? So I would like make fun of it even.
Sure.
But I still got acupuncture done by you and by others. And actually
Maverick.
I had some good, Maverick for sure. I hurt my elbow really bad, and the acupuncture is what helped it a lot. So I always valued that. And there's some really good acupuncturists and body people, huh? Body
in
work
Santa
people
Fe,
in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Santa Fe, New Mexico, yeah, for sure. They had 2 acupuncture schools there, and they had 2 massage therapy schools there. So the place was always just like a natural healthcare, natural healing center, Reiki healing. But it's Santa Fe though, man. Like Santa Fe, right? Like that's who and that's who really was attracted to all the acupuncture and the Eastern medicine early on in the 70s and the 80s was kind of the hippies,
right?
The whole bit of it. Right? So.
They were always right. The science is proving it.
They had some things right.
Man, so what happens in acupuncture? Can you explain?
Yeah.
What did you learn, or how does it work? You stick needles in people.
Right.
You stuck needles in my arm.
Right.
Different parts. You've burnt
Moxa.
Stomach. What is it? Stomach 36?
Yeah, stomach
on my
36.
shin, so I could keep marching farther.
Yeah. The leg 3 miles. Zusan Li is it translates to the leg 3 miles. So if
it's like 3 fingers below my knee, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So you told me that. I was like, yeah, I like that. I want to do that.
I'll go further. Whatever it takes. So like, how does it work? So it's always kind of like translating Chinese medicine to Western thought, or like Western educated people is always unique, right? Like, what are the correlations between chi energy and what people are educated on? So one of the correlations is blood flow.
Okay.
So really, you're increasing blood flow into an area, and the blood flow brings more oxygen.
It's tight, right? And then you stick the needle and it relaxes those areas, so stuff can just flow through the body, right?
Right. And so that's one way, that's one easy way for people to kind of wrap their head around, like, what is acupuncture doing? Is you're increasing the blood flow to the area to make the area heal, increase the area, and increase blood flow, oxygen to the area.
So the body can heal itself.
Right. Now, another way, it's kind of an interesting idea, too, about it is that you're faking a wound, right? So say you put acupuncture into here, and then you put heat on it. Now the body just reads it as a puncture wound plus a burn. So then it sends all the macrophages and the fibroblasts and everything to the area to try to heal the area. Almost like a
immune system,
almost like a prolotherapy.
Right.
Like a prolotherapy without
the fibroblasts is the stuff that shoots out the
like it lays down
fascia, the spider webs of fascia.
Right. Yeah, like it lays down new tissue. Yeah. And so in that way, it's kind of interesting. It's like
it's the thing up the sleeve of Spider-Man, right? That'd be a fibroblast, yeah. Pretty much, right? Pretty much.
Sure. Yeah, sure. His fascia.
Yeah.
His web of fascia.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
And under a microscope.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, so yeah, with so that's one way to look at it, like old school prolotherapy, right? Acupuncture. And then another way to look at it is a lot of the meridians have been found in the fascia, like that the meridians, that there's electrical lines that lay within the fascia, right? And so fascia is like an interconnective.
Goes around everything.
Goes everything.
There's
all around the
organs. The skin, around every muscle, around
everything.
every organ, around every muscle fiber. It interconnects everything, right?
Everything. And you're studying that with the TACFIT, right? That you guys are.
And also my own, right? Extra, but it's all in the TACFIT stuff for sure.
Right.
For sure.
And
it's the whole holistic, right?
Right.
Of it all.
Right. And so.
And they say, like your of course your nervous system, right? Like you're saying, like the meridians, right? Your endocrine, your hormones, and your immune system is all in that fascia, right? The inflammation, right? And the immune system.
Yeah. Okay.
So everything communicates in the body.
Right.
So if you move your stuff, stuff is tight and you stretch and you release that tension, and you can release it with body work or acupuncture as well, right? If you can't access it, I think you need some help sometimes, right?
Yeah, I think
so. It really helps.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think having that awareness really helps you go farther and helps you really heal yourself.
Yeah.
To understand what's going on right in the body, which modern technology and imaging and stuff really helps to understand.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, I'm into integrated medicine, right? Like if the ancient Chinese had X-rays and MRIs, they would have used them.
You're a doctor, Dr. Grant Collins, Doctor of Oriental Medicine.
Licensed acupuncturist in California.
Oh, okay. But in New Mexico?
In New Mexico is Doctor of Oriental Medicine.
DOM they call it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in California, there's licensed acupuncturist. So, whatever. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
So you don't get that license, you don't get the title in California? Or do you have to do some other schooling?
So that's what it is. That's the real thing, is they want you to go for another 2 years and get the full doctorate.
I see. Okay.
Which, that could happen. But
okay. But you got the title in New Mexico.
Sure. Right.
So I can call you doctor. Sure. Doc.
Doc Kwando.
Nice.
No, I think this stuff is crucial, right? It's crucial because if you're going to spend any time in the martial arts, you're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to deal with injuries. You're going to have to deal with a back.
Yeah,
this
it's part of the game, right?
It's part of the game. Because what is the martial arts? The martial arts is all about optimizing. Like you talk about optimizing is becoming the very best version of yourself that you possibly can, which means you're stronger, you're more athletic. It means you're recovering better, like all of that. And if when you all of a sudden you have back pain, you go to the doc and he puts you on opiate-based pain pills,
right?
You're not optimized.
Yeah,
you're not optimizing anything. You know what I mean? So being involved with natural medicine is going to help you optimize eating right. It's going to help you optimize all these kind of practices.
Yeah. When I explain people like a lot of these like type of things, like it's funny you say the Mr. Miyagi thing with the Karate Kid, because that's kind of what comes into my head as well. And I think that should be part of the martial arts, right? That aspect, like you're saying, I think that as well. So I kind of really resonates with me. I always talk about it with everybody on here and also just in the gym.
Yeah.
That should be part of your training. And so I think for me, the TACFIT has really closed that gap and helped me. It's given me so many more tools.
Right.
Yeah.
Better body awareness.
Yeah, just I mean, it's all the right stuff, like how to stretch, just body the way the body works, the correct breathing, like just the whole holistic picture in a way.
Yeah.
You know, it's a never-ending journey, right? It's a lifetime of just the process.
Yeah.
Like martial arts really should be, right?
Yeah.
It never ends.
Right. Mastery of self.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so nice that we have it now here here at the gym. Just because I can go down, it's the same, but it's different, right?
Yeah, it's true. No, I'm interested. I think I'm going to take my first TAC-FIT class tonight.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, that's part of the reason I want to come up and visit. One, because you're up here and it's great to visit your academy. I love it. And then two, I want to see the CrossFit. I'm a huge fan of this. I mean, excuse me. TAC-FIT, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of.
Don't worry. When I first was gonna start a TAC-FIT gym, I was gonna call it. I was CrossFit certified, so I was gonna make it a CrossFit gym, but teach TAC-FIT. And then I'm like, what are you doing? It's the same thing. It's like me, starting my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Santa Fe and calling it karate, whatever academy. Right. Because people know what karate was. They didn't know what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was. So it was like the same thing. Right. So yeah, TAC-FIT.
TAC-FIT.
TAC-FIT is where it's at.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of strength training. I think people should have a
programming,
regular routine of strength training. It should be intelligent. It shouldn't just be you working to maximum intensity every day just because it's hardcore. It shouldn't be that, right? It should be like an educated, intelligently designed program for strength training. For sure.
Man, what fuels you to teach after all these years? You've been teaching for over 20 years as well.
Yeah. Man, I love it. I really like it. I like the interaction with the people. I like to see the improvement in people. See people going from being weak and soft to being hard and courageous. I like the brotherhood. There's a brotherhood piece to it, right? Where like I feel at home on the mat. Like when I'm in my academy, I'm on the mat, man. I'm at home for sure. I'm surrounded by my brotherhood, my people, and there's a real strength to that. And it's a real thing. It's something that has real value in the world and in this society, I think.
Yeah. You trained with you when you came out here. I mean, it's been so many years, right? You moved out here in what year?
In 2003.
2003. Okay. So you trained with Chinguia because he was the kind of the representative from our lineage, right? So you got your black belt after many years, and you guys are still Chinguia affiliate.
Chinguia,
Spotty Guard, the
guard and other things.
Right.
He's famous for his Spotty Guard, but man, really he should be famous for being heavy on top. He needs to put out a whole DVD on pressure passing, and knee on belly. Because his top game, I never play in his Spider Guard. I always play underneath his knee. But no, it's been great, man. I think you told me, the way I first met Chinguia, actually, I was out here in California and I was at a tournament and I saw he had the shirt, it had like the old school black shirt with the yellow Gracie Ball logo.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
It was similar to Draculino's.
The Tasmanian Devil, right?
Yeah. And so I recognized it right away. I was like, Chinguia, you have a Gracie Ball? Let me have the card. And so I had his card in my wallet for like a year. And then I talked to you about him, and I said, what about this guy, Chinguia? And he said, he's got 10 years on me. And I was like, all right, then. He's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
And then when I showed up, I remember I had a Draculino patch.
Yeah, he's the man. He's close friends with Draculino.
On my gi, and Chinguia right away.
Spider Guard master.
Brought me in like family, man. Brought me in like, treated me like family.
Yeah.
And, it's been great. It's great to have a coach that you've been long term with.
Yeah, he's a legend for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the first guys to go to Orange County and teach jiu-jitsu there, right?
Yeah. He was one of the first schools, and he came here with nothing. He came from Brazil with the way if I